And welcome back. Today we're joined by Neil Jacobs from FOMO21 and a friend of mine. Neil, welcome back to the show. First of all, for those out there that may not know, and if you don't know, it's because you don't watch the show enough, I run a conference called BitBlock Boom. This year we're in Dallas, Texas in April, right after the eclipse. We're trying to incorporate some extra stuff to make it an eclipse event too, much less a happening. And Neil, I want to thank you for your support. I think you've been to like the last 5 out of 6 or something. I don't know how many you've been to, but it's been quite a few.
I've been to a few, and I'll be there this year. I'm really excited. Um, it's a great conference. It's one of my favorite Bitcoin conferences that I go to. I kind of look at the Bitcoin only conferences as the US as like a top three, and one of those includes BitBlock Boom. So I'm excited to be there. You really get to talk to anyone in the space that's there. They're not, there's no backstage that you're not allowed to like talk to anybody. You're really face to face. The last BitBlock Boom in August of this year, I got to meet Tur Demeester after his speech that he gave, and I never met him before. But right after the speech, he just came out and started talking to Bitcoiners, and it was a pleasure for me to meet him because I've always respected him. But there's a ton of Bitcoiners there, and everyone's always really friendly. So I would suggest that you go to BitBlock Boom if you haven't gone yet.
Well, I appreciate that. I wasn't trying to get the plug, but I'll take it. That's for sure. And that is true. I hear that all the time from people that they go, yeah, I was just standing there and I looked over there and there was Pierre Richard and Saifedean Ammous having a drink at the bar, and I went up just to stand by him and kind of like be near him, and all of a sudden they introduced themselves to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, so it is a thing. We don't have VIP passes in a special room that they can go into. I did that the first year, and I said, I don't like segregating everybody. We're all VIPs if we're Bitcoiners. So that's why we do a pro pass. It just means you're buying a bigger ticket. You're not getting special treatment. Everybody's getting the same treatment. So that was the thing. Tell me a question. There's one question I do ask everybody that I want to move into now, and that's, how did you find out about Bitcoin? What was your orange pill moment that you said you found out about it early, but you didn't understand it? What made the difference? What was your orange pill moment? Not when did you find out, but your orange pill moment.
So yeah, like I said, 2013 was the first time I found out about it. I think it's American Hodl who says you need like at least 3 touch points before you really understand Bitcoin, and that was kind of me. So, heard about it in 2013, dabbled in all the trading in 2015 through 2017, and then kind of was like, man, I'm done with this. And then a couple years later, I just started listening to podcasts, reading books. Back when I first heard about Bitcoin in 2013, there weren't like really podcasts available like there are today. There weren't the number of books there are today. The Bitcoin Standard, I don't even think that came out until 2018, right? So, it's a lot easier today to fall down the Bitcoin rabbit hole quickly than it was back in 2013. At least I'm giving myself an excuse for why I didn't understand earlier. But yeah, at the end of, I'd say, mid 2019, end of 2019, I was kind of thinking about, how to reallocate my own investments, and Bitcoin just happened to like pop back onto my radar. And I'm like, you know what? I want to just learn about Bitcoin only and why it stays around. Like it never dies. And I just had a holy, crap moment at a certain point. And yeah, like I said, I just started consuming a lot of podcasts. Bitcoin Tina was a big reason for me kind of being orange pilled. And then just all of Bitcoin Twitter really helped me. I was talking to friends about Bitcoin. I was on like a group text thread with my friends, normies, as we call them. They're not Bitcoiners. And none of them really cared about listening to me talk about Bitcoin. And at a certain point, it's like, you know what? I'm not going to try to like shove this down their throat. So I really found Twitter was like a great place to kind of share my thoughts. And then people would comment and they were interested. And I kind of just got engrossed in that part of the community. And like I said, it's just kind of taken off since then. And I'm just happy that I found these people, that I found these podcasts, these books, and then I'm here with you now. I'm very grateful and appreciative.
Well, you're right on 2 points there. I think Hodl is right on his 3 touch points. It took me 3 touch points. It was like $100 when I first was told about it. And I was told it was like online stocks and I had no interest. Then I heard about it a few years later from someone who was given 30 something of them. And he was telling me, oh yeah, this stuff's going to go to $1 million. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Then a few years later, someone told me about it and we spent like 6 hours talking about it. He answered everything I could think of. And from that point on, I was orange pilled. And once you see it, I think Bitcoin's hard to see. It really is. But once you see it, you can't unsee it, if that makes any sense. Once you understand it, you're never going to doubt it once you get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Once you see it, you really can't unsee it. And plus, the time I really started understanding it, there was a lot of social signaling that was happening. Paul Tudor Jones, who was famous for investing in gold, talked about Bitcoin and being the fastest horse in the race. And when I started seeing it get more public support from well-known, investors and people who are considered respected investors like a Paul Tudor Jones, I'm like, this thing isn't going away. And yeah, I guess the whole, Bitcoin is dead, but it's never really dead, just kind of eventually captures you. And it's like, why won't this thing just die? And then you fall in and you really never get out. Yeah, it's hard to get out once you fall in.
And then people will inevitably say, oh, you were really lucky. You got in early. And you're going, lucky? I saw it go from 20,000 and held on until it went to 3. And then I saw it go to 69,000 and held on to it till it went to 15. There wasn't a lot of luck involved there. I feel like I knew what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. And, and here I'm still riding it, and we're up 110% this year. But it's those periods when it goes from, like I said, 20 to 3,500, I guess it was what it was, or 69,000 to 15,000. That's not luck. That's more like being educated, I would say.
Yeah, you need to have the conviction that we have. You need to have put in hundreds of hours to be able to hold through that volatility and know what you own, right? So many people don't know what they own, and they I guess we call them paper hands, right? They let go of their Bitcoin. Yeah, it takes a certain level of study and conviction. There's no luck in hodling through what's been one of the longest bear markets as we've been going through. I think maybe we're turning a corner and we're going into a bull market now. I hope the recent pump isn't a fake out, because I could use a few more positive days like we've had the last few days. But yeah, there's definitely no luck involved. People will say we're lucky, and that's fine. They could say whatever they want, but we know that it took a lot of determination and just a lot of study to get to where we are today. And I believe you believe we'll be rewarded for that.
It's like my wife. She didn't watch Bitcoin go to 20 down to 3,500, but she did start watching it when it hit about 40, and saw it go from 40 to almost 70, and then back down to 15. And she was saying, "Man, I sure wish this stuff would get back up there." And I had to tell her, I said, "Kathy, I don't blame you for having a hard time with this. This is the longest bear run there's ever been. So, and this is your first, and you're going through the longest as your first. So you have every right to be feeling that way." Because sometimes you go, I feel like we should have sold at 69. But I know so many people who sold and didn't get as much when they got back in.
Yeah. How long was it actually at 69,000 too? Yeah. And how do you know that's the end, right? Like so many people predicted 100,000, 150,000, 200,000.
And thank you for watching. We'll be right back after this word from our sponsor.